All right. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I have a question for you. How many meat, egg, and dairy marketing executives does it take to screw in a light bulb?
None, they're all in the dark.
That's correct. None. They like keeping people in the dark. That is correct. If I had a prize to distribute, it would go to you. All right. So clearly she's familiar with my material. It's all right. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, our next speaker is a president and founder of Fish Feel. She is a longtime animal rights activist with a Bachelor of Science in Animal Science. She was the producer of Farmed Animal Watch, a weekly online news digest sponsored by numerous animal protection organizations. She has assisted with research for several books, and it gives me great pleasure to welcome to the stage Mary Finelli. Give Mary a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. All right, thanks, Mary.
I'd like to thank everybody for being here. Vegan animal rights activists, you really are the best. And I'd especially like to thank Pamela Rice for her tenacity in organizing this event year after year. So thank you very much. And again, my name is Mary Finelli. I'm the founder of Fish Feel. Our table is over there. And I'm so glad to be here representing our organization and speaking on behalf of fishes. Veggie Pride Parade France this year is actually focusing on fish and invertebrate aquatic animals. So that's where Veggie Pride Parade originated in France, and I'm so glad to be able to speak on behalf of fish here. So we're continually learning new and interesting and really amazing things about fish, how admirable and amazing they are, and really dispelling a lot of previous notions that people had about them that were false. For example, that fish have a short-term memory, which is proven wrong by, for example, migratory fish who travel thousands of miles and years and yet remember how to get back to their home. Goldfish are also able to learn skills and remember them months and even years later. So fish have long-term memories. They're intelligent and inquisitive, science has shown us. They learn by watching others. They can pass knowledge from generation to generation, which is the basis of culture. They're very sociable. They act in cooperation with each other and also with other species. They recognize and remember their other fish who are familiar to them just by subtle markings. They form friendships, including friendships with humans. There was a recent video that's been going around online, shows a person who's using a broken bottle to liberate a fish, a pufferfish who's trapped in an underwater net. And the pufferfish is pretty little, but his companion fish is right there with him, waiting for him to be liberated. And standing by, even though this big human is there, he waits until the fish is free and then they swim off together. So it gives you an idea of how brave and how loyal fish can be. There's a lot of really terrific videos online that show how remarkable fish are. They have families. Some of them are very attentive parents. They are very valiantly care for their young and very vigilantly protect their young. So most importantly, though, science has shown us that fish are sentient. They suffer fear and pain, and they have pain receptors in their bodies, including in their sensitive mouths. They react to painful stimuli the way you would expect an animal in pain to react. They respond to painkillers the way you would expect an animal whose pain has been alleviated to respond. And they quickly learn to avoid painful stimuli. Shellfish have also shown similar abilities. Fish constitute by far the greatest category of exploited animals. It's been estimated that between 1 and 3 trillion fish are killed each year, or caught in fishing each year. And that is a very conservative figure. It doesn't include the fish who are farmed or the fish who are illegally fished, which is another huge number. And it also doesn't include the fish who are non-commercially caught, which is another vast number of animals. They're caught in very brutal ways. Fish are also farmed in very cruel conditions, and they're all killed in very inhumane ways. They're not covered by the Humane Slaughter Act, and there's no legal protection for fish. Many other animals are killed as bycatch. They're not the intended victims, but hundreds of thousands of dolphins, whales, turtles, seals, birds all get caught up in fishing gear. Also, if a ship has reached its quota of fish that they're allowed to take, they'll just catch those fish and throw them back dead or dying. It's been estimated as much as 40% of the global catch is animals that were not intended victims and are thrown back dead and dying. Other animals are killed because they're competing with humans for fish, such as seals and sea lions and birds. Yet other animals are scapegoated, blamed for killing fish, but they're actually not. For example, in the Chesapeake Bay, we have a situation right now where they're having killing contests for cow-nosed rays, who are these beautiful rays who come up from the Gulf of Mexico every year to mate and give birth to their pups. And these bow fishers go out in boats and they can ride right up to these animals who are gliding gracefully on the surface of the water and shoot them, and they pick them up and they impale them and they throw them into a pile to suffocate, and afterwards they throw them back into the river. So we have a big campaign of fighting against these killing contests. And a lot of these animals, they actually need fish to survive, whereas we can thrive on a vegan diet. All the nutrients that we need to thrive are in a vegan plant-sourced diet that is better for us, better for the other animals, and better for the environment. And there's also humans in the world who genuinely do need fish to eat fish in order to survive, and when we eat them, we're depriving them of their food. Yet other humans are actually slaves in the fishing industry. Human slavery is rampant in the fishing industry. These people are out on ships. They can be out there for years at a time. There's cases of murder, and all for something that's not even good for us. And this includes children who are kept in horrendous conditions. Huge numbers of fish are used as feed for pigs and chickens, which props up these factory farmed industries, also to feed farm fish and shrimps. So we're depleting the ocean to such a great extent. It was recently reported that in the last 40 years, aquatic populations have been halved. And there's animals who are starving now for lack of food. Off the coast of California, there's sea lions starving, and birds and seals. And now, because there's so few fish left in the ocean, they're actually trying to turn carnivorous farmed fish into vegetarians, when the only sensible thing is for us to be vegan. For our own sake as well, fish is not a healthful food, it's a health hazard. It has mercury, dioxins, PCBs, all kinds of accumulated biotoxins, parasites, pathogens, cholesterol, saturated fat. It is not a health food, it's a health hazard. And the same with fish oil. It can be similarly contaminated, it can go rancid easily, which results in free radicals, which are potentially carcinogenic. So it's really a health hazard for us as well. There are all kinds of terrific vegan seafood alternatives available now. People are so creative and imaginative with different ingredients, making all kinds of amazing textures and tastes that replicate seafood and taste better than a lot of seafood. Pretty much any kind of seafood you can imagine, there are vegan versions of. On our website we have recipes, all kinds of recipes, and lists of companies that make all kinds of vegan seafood products. There's even a vegan seafood cookbook available. Over at our table we have a vegan seafood fact sheet. And as wonderful and sentient and deserving of our care and compassion as fish are, yet they are largely ignored, even by the animal rights community. And their plight affects so many other animals. For example, fish are the one animal that children are encouraged to torture and kill. And by doing that, they lose their sensitivity, they're desensitized to animal suffering in general. And by keeping the status of fish low, we hold down the status of all other animals, all other non-human animals. Fishing is not a sport. The fish are not willing participants. They're victims. It's not a sport. It's animal abuse, including catch and release fishing. Many of those fish who are released end up dying as a result of the injury and trauma they suffered. So it's not a sport. It's animal abuse. So please include fish in your activism and your advocacy. If you hear people talking about fish, join a conversation, let them know the truth about fish. If you see comments about fish, respond to them. We have fact sheets about sentience on our website and on our table. There's a book about Do Fish Feel Pain that explains the scientific basis of fish sentience. If you see articles in the newspaper, write a letter to the editor. If you hear radio shows talking about fish, call in. And tell your family and friends that fish are sentient, that they suffer, and let them know about all the wonderful vegan alternatives that are available, that are better for the animals, better for us, and better for the environment. And also urge other animal protection organizations to include fish in their advocacy and activism. And I'd like to give a shout out to DXE for having fish on their table today, a photo of fish on their table. Because we really do need to step up activism for fish. They are really the ignored victims, and there's no good reason for that. They deserve our care and our compassion, our respect, and by helping fish, we help so many other animals, including ourselves. So fish are friends, not food, and please, be a friend to fish. Thank you.